On our last World Cup venture, we were looking at Europe for the very first time, including this very, very late winner from Adam Lallana of England. This time, it's back to Asia as they begin their third round, and the teams who win this one get to qualify for the World Cup. We'll begin with Group A, and the Seoul World Cup Stadium in Seoul, South Korea hosted China in what was a very exciting game. The deadlock was broken on 20 minutes when Zheng Zi accidentally put it past his own keeper to give South Korea the lead. South Korea's lead was doubled in the second half when Lee Chung-yong rose highest to score a header on 62 minutes. 4 minutes later and South Korea extended their lead further, Koo Cha-jol with a tap-in on 66 minutes. China were not dead and buried yet though, Yu Hai pulling a goal back for them on 73 minutes. The Chinese pulled another goal back 3 minutes later when Hao Jun-min curled in a free kick, but unfortunately for them it was all they could muster and South Korea won it 3-2. The Azadi Stadium in Tehran hosted our next game as Iran took on 2022 World Cup hosts Qatar, and Qatar held firm right up until injury time in the second half when Reza Gujanachad capitalised on a mistake from the Qatari goalkeeper to give Iran the lead. To add insult to injury, Jahan Baksh scored even deeper into injury time with a wonder goal to make it 2-0, and that's the final score. The other two teams in Group A, Uzbekistan and Syria, faced off at the Bunyodkor Stadium in Tashkent. A single goal from Gainrik of Uzbekistan separated the sides as Uzbekistan took the 1-0 win and the 3 points going into matchday 2. And for matchday 2, we'll stick with Uzbekistan as this time they travelled to the Jassim bin Hamad Stadium in Doha to take on Qatar. And just like on matchday 1, it was a single goal that was the difference between the sides, Uzbekistan's Krimet scoring on 86 minutes to give them another 1-0 win. Next up, we were at the Shenyang Olympic Sports Centre Stadium for China versus Iran, and unfortunately for the neutral fan, this was a 0-0 draw. Here's a couple of chances though. I'll complete the roundup of Group A now in Malaysia at the Tuanku Abdul Rahman Stadium in Seremban, hosting Syria for security reasons against South Korea. But unfortunately, you guys, it's another 0-0 draw. There wasn't many goals in matchday 2 in Group A, 1, and you've seen it already. Uzbekistan atop with 6 points. Moving on to Group B now, we start with a pretty big result as Japan took on the United Arab Emirates at the Saitama Stadium 2002. The scoring was opened on 11 minutes by Japan's Mr. Reliable Keisuke Honda, but a thunderbolt free kick on 20 minutes from Khalil levelled things up. In the second half, it took 3 Japanese defenders to fend off this attack. Unfortunately, to stop it, they had to concede a penalty, it seems. The spot kick was confidently converted by Khalil in the 54th minute for his and UAE's second, and Japan had no answer unfortunately. The score was 2-1, although they do have a genuine argument for a ball going over the line here. So Japan not starting how they wished to, but other teams in Group A included Australia and Iraq, who met at the Perth Oval in Perth, Australia. We had to wait until the second half for the goal scoring to start in this game, Massimo Luongo tapping in on 58 minutes to give Australia the lead. And just like buses, when you wait for ages, 2 come along at once, Juric scoring 6 minutes later to make it 2-0 to Australia, and that was the final score. Saudi Arabia took on Thailand at the King Fahd International Stadium in Riyadh for Group B's other game, and Saudi Arabia got themselves a penalty late in the game, which seemed blatant from this angle, but the Thailand players were very adamant that it wasn't. El Abed scored it on 84 minutes, but the arguments continued, and people were sent off after the final whistle, which is weird, but suspensions will still carry over. Final score 1-0 to Saudi Arabia. Now on to matchday 2 at the Mohammed bin Zayed Stadium in Abu Dhabi. United Arab Emirates hosted Australia. But the magic from the first game for UAE did not carry over, and a winner from Tim Cahill came in the second half on 75 minutes. 1-0 final score. Japan were looking to get their win back when they travelled to Thailand at the Rajamangala National Stadium in Bangkok. Japan quickly opened the scoring on 17 minutes, Haraguchi with the header. Japan doubled their lead on 75 minutes with Arsenal's Asano scoring the goal, and that was how it ended, Japan getting their win back 2-0. One last game to show you from matchday 2, and it was in Malaysia again for security reasons, as Iraq took on Saudi Arabia at the Shah Alam Stadium in Shah Alam. Iraq took the lead on 18 minutes with a great finish from Abdul Rahim. However, 2 late penalties in the second half would turn the game on its head, the first for this sliding challenge, and Al Abed scoring it for Saudi Arabia on 81 minutes. Huge celebrations, yes, but it got a bit more tense a little bit later, as another penalty was called for that pullback, and Al Abed got his third penalty in 2 games on 88 minutes. Saudi Arabia had come from behind to win the game 2-1, and that's it for this one. Saudi Arabia and Australia are top of that group with 6 points each. Come back for more, we've got loads I'm sure. Like and subscribe.